Hello indie game fans, the strong start to 2024 also shows in the hidden gems of the month with a number of brainy detective games of interest, but first let's begin with Go Mecha Ball, an action roguelite in which the gimmick is that you pilot a mech that's able to roll into a ball, which is not just cosmetic and for fun, but where you can also use the pinball table style objects such as bumpers in the level to your advantage. Not only are you using ramps and bounce pads to move around, but you can also roll into enemies to cause damage, alternating with the ranged damage from your guns, and has an interesting game feel that is worth experiencing. However, it is not the most content-dense roguelite in terms of bosses, weapons or playable characters, but for a smaller, well-rounded one of these, definitely pick it up. One of the reasons why I love indie games is that titles like Archaelund can exist, a game that looks like Oblivion in being an open world RPG where you're exploring in first person, but the UI might have given away what kind of game it is, since you do have multiple party members displayed in the bottom left. Yes, it does indeed switch to turn-based tactical combat on the grid, which is kind of wild if you think about it, since games often go either way of first-person plus real-time first-person combat like in The Elder Scrolls, or isometric view in exploration and tactical combat like in Baldur's Gate or Divinity Original Sin. So to have an interesting fusion like this is pretty neat. It is a little bit old school in design as well, with people referencing titles like Pool of Radiance, Secrets of the Silver Blades, or even Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and while not the flashiest, definitely pushes some of those nostalgia buttons. It is currently in early access and only contains the first part of the map and the first chapter of the main quest, which should take 4 to 5 hours, with the full game planned to be 15 to 20 hours. Here's a neat little title in Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, the sequel to Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion from 2021, which sees the return of our adorable protagonist, who looks cute but is actually a hardcore criminal. As compared to the original, there is more of a focus on the twin-stick shooter action in this game, but also less of a focus on the narrative, although the clever and funny writing is still a highlight in this game. As explored in the Train Dungeon update in the original, this has a roguelite-ish structure to the game and has been dubbed Baby's first roguelite, so it's an accessible, fun romp that won't crush you like other games in the genre. Here's a good city builder title named New Cycle, one which is set after an apocalyptic series of solar flares, and you emerge from the devastation with a new mission to lead humanity from a small settlement to a bustling metropolis. You can think of this as inverse Frostpunk, since instead of snow, it is all brown and dusty, and has all the elements of a good city builder like complex production chains, multiple resources to manage, and research and tech tree progression, and has taken a promising first step with the early access release. I've been looking forward to Into the Necrovale for a little while, since this is a pixel art Diablo-style title in which you are slaying tons of enemies, and looks to be following in the footsteps of games like The Slawmancer or Chronicron. You play as a condemned criminal who is trapped in some sort of purgatory, having been selected by the All-Father to make a decision on whether or not to preserve the world in its current state or to destroy it, having to battle all sorts of monsters in order to do so. The action feels good and has that classic loot-driven action RPG style gameplay and is one to watch in early access. I try to make it a point to shout out developer Red Codex whenever they release a new game, since this developer specializes in Final Fantasy Tactics style turn-based tactics games, with their latest being Kingsvein. As compared to their previous game, Horizon's Gate, which had an open world structure, this game is instead more contained, set within the walls of an infected castle city where, mounted on your wyvern and leading a party of heroes, you must attempt to reclaim this place. If you love tactics titles, do yourself a favor and check out the entire catalogue of this developer's games.
I'm bringing a basket of baked goods to my family.
You're sending me to jail? I'm a children's birthday party magician!
Increasing my sphere of influence.
The princess goes missing, and all of a sudden there's a no goblins order?
I forget what I told her to do, but I think it involved somebody's pet.
I confess, I was smuggling illegal pixie dust inside the dead cat!
Here's a wonderful adventure game that has a little bit of Papers, Please influence, in which Lil Guardsman has you playing as a 12-year-old who is put in charge of the guard shed at the castle gate, having to make decisions on whether or not to let certain characters into the castle or to throw them in jail.
You couldn't resist the chance to place an illegal...
There are criminals abound that might be smuggling illegal substances into the castle, and who you let in will shape the fate of the kingdom.
I did not slay 90 Bella.
In between the gate segments, you're able to explore the city and to talk to the other characters, having a wonderful hand-drawn art style and witty, humorous writing to match.
Oh, wait, your name is Count Heinrich?
It is still early in the year, but this might already be a contender for Adventure Game of the Year. It's difficult for me to tell how good a horror game will be right off the bat, since the quality really does vary quite a bit, so I tend to leave them after the fact before covering them, and so we have Home Safety Hotline as one of note. You play as a telephone operator who takes incoming calls whenever people come across something supernatural in their home, having to pore through a home safety manual to figure out what creature it is and to advise the caller on what to do, with fantastic voice acting and spooky, unnerving scenarios to explore.
Welcome to Home Safety Hotline, new employee.
Similarly, I don't see anyone talking about this game, which is why I thought I'll give No Case Should Remain Unsolved a special mention, a Korean police and detective title that might as well come straight out of a K-drama, in which a retired senior inspector is visited by a young police officer who asks her to reopen an old case with regards to a missing girl, where apparently everyone involved who gave statements was lying all those many years ago. You're trying to figure out which part of it was a lie and to uncover the mystery as a whole, being an excellent detective title. 2024 might be the year of the shoot 'em up, since I've always enjoyed this genre ever since I was a kid, even if I was never particularly good at them, which is why Angel at Dusk was a surprise. A bullet hell title that comes to us from indie developer Akira Goya, who has made a lot of these, and yet still have some people claiming that this is their best game yet. The almost Geiger-esque art style and designs are one of the highlights, having plenty of flashy abominations in this along with great action, so get it if you love or are curious about the genre. For more upcoming action titles, including a shoot 'em up or two, watch this video for more.